Good morning, everyone. Hope you're doing well on this Friday and you've all had a really good week. Today, here in Toronto, it's pretty warm. Actually, it's cold, but it's sunny. I guess I feel like I'm pretty warm in here because this when the sun comes into my room, it's actually pretty warm, which is nice. Um, I'm just closing down all these applications to make sure that this runs smoothly. Okay, I'm going to get started right away. Basically, what I'm talking today is about top three things to consider when it comes to ovulation and PCOS. And I'm going to give you three tips today on really, something you can do right away to help with your fertility success and ovulation when it comes to PCOS. The one thing we do know when we have PCOS is ovulation can be impacted, and this is usually because we are creating more insulin and more testosterone, and that's impacting the follicular development of an egg. And so I'm just going to quickly talk about three things we can do today to actually help us to make sure. I mean, one thing we can do today, the two things we might have to work on a little bit. But the first thing is stress. Oftentimes, if there's stress, it can actually really impact our ability to ovulate and actually push out ovulation. So we do want to make sure if there's any stress in your life to really help that throughout the day or even just daily. Even 15 minutes of helping your stress a day can help that parasympathetic nervous system and for you to get into this relaxing state so that your body can actually make hormones. Oftentimes when we're constantly stressed, our body is going to shuttle our energy and blood supply to the outside muscles, and it's not going to bring energy and blood support to the reproductive organ. So it's really important to be focusing in on stress. So a few things you can do for this, deep breathing, every time you go to the washroom, for example, or even every hour taking a break, asking yourself, what do you need? Is it a deep breath? Do you need to walk around? Do you need to get some water? Even just practicing mindfulness throughout the day. So as you're working, like feeling, if you're on a computer, I'm on a computer all day, so like feeling the keyboard, like your finger pads hitting the keyboard, really engaging in the conversations that you're having with people. Even if you have an office, just like looking around and just like noticing things that are around you. These are ways to be more mindful. Even just like when you're brushing your teeth, you're like really just like feeling the sensations of the toothbrush and things like that. So, mindfulness doesn't have to mean that you have to meditate and sit for 20 minutes and do something. It can literally be just like being more mindful in the daily activities that you're doing. Sometimes even when I'm washing dishes, I just like to like really feel like what I'm doing and really understand, and I guess be more mindful of feeling the soap, feeling the water, things like that. That actually really helps to calm the nervous system down. It seems so small, but it's actually an activity that requires some kind of practice. And I do feel like that has helped me in the past. Another thing that has helped me in terms of stress, because that's a huge part of my PCOS case, is yoga. So I, did yoga for like 15 minutes a day for a month, just to test it out and see what would happen. And my cycles actually became pretty regular around that time. And so I found that even just focusing on stretching and breathing daily in some kind of formal practice can really help. Some cases of PCOS. It did help me. It does help some of my patients. So I would encourage you to even just, download an app and start doing a little bit of yoga a day, even if it's 15 minutes. So we talked about stress. This is the number one thing that I'm bringing up today in terms of making sure you're ovulating is bringing the stress down. But I think the last thing that I'm going to talk about, so the third thing is actually really, really important. But stress, really important. Sleep, is my next thing. So a lot of women with PCOS, or even in general, people are, struggling with sleep. And I think it's really important to make sure that sleep is your number one priority, especially if you're not sleeping well or if you're not sleeping enough. If you're, tired in the evening, but you're wired because your cortisol's up, it's really important to make sure you're getting into bed on time. And doing some, activities that help to calm your nervous system down. A lot of people will have high cortisol at nighttime, so this is our stress hormone, and this will prevent melatonin from rising. And when that happens, that can actually impact our sleep and our ability to fall asleep and stay asleep. So really making sure that you take the time at least like an hour before bedtime to help wind down. I really like to take a shower actually at bedtime. Just helps to calm my nervous system down. Sometimes I'll read a book, and I'll also, there's an app called Calm app. I like their meditation before bedtime. It's called Calming Anxiety. That's just the one that I use. It just helps you do some deep breathing and helps, relax your body and get you into that parasympathetic nervous system state. Another really good one for bedtime is the body scan meditation. So even if you search body scan meditation on YouTube or on your app that you have, if you have one, that can be really helpful as well. Okay, so sleep. Really, really, really important. So if you're not sleeping regularly at the same time, please try to change that. And if you're not getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep, that's really important to make sure that we can actually create hormones. So second thing is sleep. Third thing, last but not least, number one thing I think everybody needs to focus in on in terms of making sure ovulation happens every month is reducing sugar consumption. This is a huge one when it comes to PCOS because it can really impact our blood sugar. So making sure that you're actually, reducing your sugar intake can be really, 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 really beneficial when it comes to insulin resistance and also helping us to maintain ovulation on a regular basis. The reason why is because when we don't when we eat lots of sugar or even carbohydrates, it can impact our insulin. And what happens is insulin can actually increase testosterone in our ovaries, and that is what really impacts our ability to create a really good follicle and help us to ovulate on a regular basis. So if there's one thing you take away today in terms of making sure you ovulate every month, it's reducing your sugar consumption. I find that starving the body from sugar for about 3 to 5 days can really help kickstart this process. Another thing that can really help is myo-inositol. So I'm going to talk about this in the fertility webinar that I'm doing on Tuesday. It's actually next Tuesday, January 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're around and you want to listen in, I'm going to go over the benefits of myo-inositol for fertility and also other supplements as well. The benefit too is if anyone comes into the chat live or the webinar live, they'll have a chance to win Ovufolic, which is a myo-inositol supplement specifically for PCOS and our ovaries to help us to ovulate. It's created by Elan Health, and we're giving away 3 prizes for a 1 month supply of Ovufolic. So I'm really excited about that because even sometimes even a 1 month can really make a difference when it comes to taking inositol. We do find in the studies it does, the studies do use it for 3 to 6 months to really see the change, but for some women that I have seen in practice, it does kind of can help pretty quickly. So that's my plug for the fertility PCOS webinar next Tuesday. I will put the link into the comments below so that you can check that out and sign up. I'm really excited about this because there's so much information that I can provide, and I really hope I can just help somebody figure out what they can do to get ovulation going. And even if it's one person, I'm really happy about that. But yeah, hopefully you guys can join. It will be recorded, so if you sign up, I will be sending the recorded link, and you can ask any questions on that webinar too. So I'm really happy and excited about doing that. And I'm pretty much all done the webinar, so I'm really happy that everything is kind of lining up, and really excited to share this information with you. But basically, sugar cravings. Number one thing is making sure you eat high fat, high protein. That'll help reduce the cravings. But also, we need to investigate a little bit more sometimes. If there's yeast in the gut, if you're, prone to yeast infections, this can like really impact your ability to reduce sugar cravings. So, that's